Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix Show. My name is Chris Wong. This is episode 490 of the Ping Pong Flix Show. First off, Birds of Prey, second weekend box office update. This is coming from Gadesh Pandya. $17.1 million second weekend for Birds of Prey, dropping only 48% with a little holiday help. 10-day cum is up to $59.3 million with a shot at finishing with $100 million at domestic. And usually when it's in domestic box office and it's like a less than 50% drop in a second weekend, that's actually really good. I mean, not that good because there's a lot of movies that have a lower drop or even an up in percentages, but for the most part, we want to see it less than 50% drop every weekend. Granted, the beginning wasn't that great, but hopefully it'll keep up, and it looks like it kind of will in terms of internationally as well. Gadesh also reported international box office total for Birds of Prey is now up to 83.6 million, raising the global tally to 142.9 million. With Japan still to open, I believe next month, a final worldwide gross of around $260 million seems likely for Harley Quinn. So we take these numbers, let's plot them in this sheet here. Birds of Prey, so last time was at 79, that was the first weekend. Now let's do a worldwide box office of, say, 260 million. Did I do that right? No, I didn't. Add another zero and there, and now we see gross profit-ish at a 91 million. Actually, if that's the case, then it could actually a gross profit is actually more successful than Justice League. Not as good as Shazam. Like Shazam really knocked it out of the park there concerning his thing, right? But we also have to kind of make sure we keep in mind that marketing doesn't automatically is double of production budgets. Most people, most industry experts, say it's usually double, but sometimes even more. But seeing as Birds of Prey's marketing, I kind of hard to believe it's $80 million marketing. I don't know, but I feel like it could have been less. So potentially this number should be a lot higher. But in any case, it's out. It's out of the red when the worldwide box office turns. If it actually gets to this much. Even at like 220 or even 200 million, it'll still come out on top, so that's, I think that you can be pretty thankful for, and seeing that at least Birds of Prey as a movie is going to be is successful in a way, right? But I gotta remind you, and that's why I have this chart, is that you have to look at it overall. And I think the reason why Warner Brothers doesn't want to call each of these movies sequels anymore, because they don't want you to compare it to other. They want you to just get away from the fact that it's a slate, get away from the fact that it's a sequel to the other film, get away from the seeing that overall brand crumble here and there, right? Because this is not looking good. This is the lowest worldwide box office of every single DCEU movie that has come out. And I think they don't want you to think that way. They want you to take in each movie as its own movie without thinking of it as a brand. But it's hard to do that because it is a brand, and they're still connecting it in some way or some fashion to the movies to before. And so I'm really hoping that this strategy of low budget, low risk of financial risk to get a higher box office, even though it's not as big as ones before. I hope those are like onesie twosies, but most of all, they're really going to be going in strong with the other brand, with their brand by going crazy with, not crazy, but to the point that you're pushing a lot more. You're selling toys. You're doing all these kinds of things to get people to go in and watch the movie. And I think Wonder Woman 1984 will get that back. I think Wonder Woman 1984 will have the potential to reach the heights of this, maybe even this. And I think that will be good for the overall brand in Warner Brothers slate, right? And so I think there's still potential for that. And increasingly, one of the things to notice about this increase, not increase, but like as not as a big drop off. Yes, the holidays help. I wonder if some of those, the names that they altered for the theater ticket sales helped as well. Like when people went to go and get their tickets, it said Harley Quinn, and they immediately says, you know what, I want to watch a Harley Quinn movie. Did that help as well? And what else has helped? So I think I really thought it would have turned around a little bit more, but understood because many people like myself and my family, we went to watch Sonic this weekend, and I feel like because of the holidays, because of the kids are off, and the kids are off tomorrow, that they all went and watched Sonic. But potentially we could have a little bit more as come Monday, and that could also help Birds of Prey as well. So we'll see how much we'll gain a little bit more for that. So Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, or what do you want to call Birds of Prey, the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, still creeping in there, and as a movie by itself, without thinking about it as a brand, is successful. As a brand, though, it is kind of worrisome, but there's two different messages coming out from this box office. One is in positive and one is not so positive. So depending on how you look at it, as if you're just going to look at it in the financial way, where the movie was made for this much and it made this much, and this is how much is gross profit ish, then yeah, of course, any person who invested in this movie will definitely be happy to make out with something and more than break even, right? So be happy for that. So, but just like I was saying about how they should make more risks and go into bigger movies, and I know I had a conversation with Shaker this morning about a little bit of a Flash and Christina Hodson. We're starting to see a little bit more rumors about that Flash film. According to a rumor, Wonder Woman and Aquaman will battle in the upcoming Flash film. The film is set to release on July 1st of 2022. So a rumor came out that Wonder Woman and Aquaman will fight each other in an upcoming Flash film, which we kind of figured, but we didn't know how Andy Muschietti was going to take that Flashpoint story and how far he was going to go with it, right? He did tell us this is not the Flashpoint movie you're thinking of, but yet we're now hearing rumors of Wonder Woman and Aquaman fighting in the Flashpoint film. Grace Randolph also came out and says, yes, I can confirm rumors are true. Warner Brothers would like Flash movie to feature Wonder Woman versus Aquaman to wipe out Justice League, but Gal Gadot and Jason Momoa would need to agree. With Ezra Miller, I think it's a big ask. We'll see. Now, I don't, and she's asking you to vote here, but I don't really want to do that. I would say, just like Grace Randolph's other theories of Wonder Woman 1984 being sort of a Flashpoint thing, and her dick pic of theory for Black Mass's diamond, right? She said that in the diamond would have dick pics in it, and that's why Black Mass really wants that in Birds of Prey. Now, I want to believe that what she has heard was the initial thoughts, maybe even initial writings of how those movies were going to turn out. And from then on, it has evolved into something else. Birds of Prey, the diamond coated, and I could totally, when you watch Birds of Prey, you could totally see how they could have changed that later on, because that diamond got pawned off. they knowing full well what's in it, and yet they pawned it off instead of recording all those account numbers in that thing. So I want to almost believe that that may have actually been something that was going to happen, but Warner Brothers thought other than that. Maybe they saw how people reacted to Grace Randolph's findings about that and decided to change it to that. I believe possibly even Wonder Woman 1984 could have had some time element things in it, but they may have changed it. Of course, we don't know until we watch the movie. Changed it to a little bit more simpler times, and maybe now because Flash, they found a director, they found a writer. Ezra Miller's probably going to be involved. They're getting into Flashpoint once again, and they're getting into the point where they're going to have to do some time things here as well. Of course, this is not anything big. I mean, right? I mean, when you think of Flashpoint, you do think of Mara dying. You know, you do think of Wonder Woman and Aquaman fighting, the Atlanteans and the Themyscirians fight on land. You do think of that because that actually happens in the Flashpoint comics and even the Flashpoint Paradox animated film. So it does happen that way. So it would be kind of foolish not to think when someone says they're going to make a Flashpoint movie, even though they say it's not the Flashpoint you think, that you kind of go to those places, right? Won't your thoughts go to those areas where, well, this probably will happen, this probably will happen, this probably will happen, or maybe this will happen. And it's even more so now that we're hearing rumors that Wonder Woman's going to fight Aquaman, right? There is no Justice League in that movie. There is no Justice League in that movie. Okay, Superman he's been concealed. He's been imprisoned his whole life. Thomas became Batman, and all these other things that have happened in this movie. And so it's not far fetched to hear that. It doesn't mean it's wiping out Justice League because we all know that in the Flashpoint movie he goes back in time to change it, alter it so that the present day continue to happen, and then his mom does pass away. So it doesn't seem. I don't know why people are shocked about that and thinking like a new universe would spun out of this when that literally is the storyline. But it's a great storyline. I think it's a great way to show how his mother dies and how he tries to do it. Because once you get into the Flash, right? Once you're able to find out that you can turn back time, what would be something you first do besides all the playful things? What would be the first thing you do? The first thing you do is think about your family. The first thing you do, the one thing that propelled you, the one thing that got your father in prison, you'd go back and try to fix it. So as a starting off point for Flash, because most people know Flash just runs fast. Okay, I think it's a kind of a good starter to me. I actually really think it could be a good starting point for Flash to sing that, and at the same time bringing in these cast of Justice League characters to propel the story and in a way get people into the theaters and seeing it as a giant movie with a spin-off for Flash. So I think it might be a good idea, and I'm kind of actually very excited for that, knowing that this may be the rumors that are coming out, right? So but even more so, Daniel RPK actually tweeted this out, and then he deleted it because he probably didn't want to get in trouble. He has kind of learned the possible rumors that Reverse Flash and Mirror Master are going to be the two villains in the Flash movie, right? So it's getting very, very much almost like the Flashpoint we think Flashpoint's going to be, right? And as we go on, it could further go go further and further into that territory, although the director says it's not the Flashpoint that you think. And he could be right. I mean, Civil War wasn't the Civil War you thought, but essentially it was still Captain America Civil War, right? So the Flashpoint could have some incredible things that happen in it for Warner Brothers. It could be finally something that actually pulls things, other movies together in a little bit more cohesive fashion, whether that's a good idea or not. But I want to say, if they're indeed doing a Flashpoint film, this is a big risk, and it's a gamble that I haven't really seen them do in a while, since the glory days of DCEU, and I hope they stick to it. Like, stick to it. Not get freaked out or scared, or other people, bloggers and things, are telling you that anything different. That's why they're changing things. But we'll see. We'll have to wait and see on that, on whether this actually is Flashpoint. So I want to mention a little bit about the timeline for this. The film is set to, this is a rumor, film set to release on July 1st, 2022. I think they even said that too. Official announcement for that. I want to mention that Aquaman 2 doesn't come out till December of 2022. So the first time we're going to see Jason Momoa and Amber Heard possibly together on screen is not going to be Aquaman 2, but it's going to be this movie here. What potentially that could mean is that they've extended it in a way that they don't have to really show Mara. And like any TV show you've seen, or even some movies out there, where something goes wrong with the contract, something goes wrong with the character, they usually just kill them off. And yes, this would be an opportunity to kind of kill off Mara, instead of recasting Mara with someone else other than Amber Heard, in light of all this controversy between her and Johnny Depp. And as you know, in Hollywood and any industry really, they don't want any bad publicity. So the best way to do that is either to write off that character entirely, or recast him. And at this rate, it does seem like, just like how they weren't really willing to recast recast Deadshot. Instead of recasting Deadshot, they just said Deadshot. They're writing Deadshot out of the story. Idris Elba will play somebody else. So I think that's maybe the same situation here, until possibly Amber Heard will get all her things together, and possibly, if that controversy even goes away, there's still a little bit more time, more chance to hopefully get her back for Aquaman 2. Because by the time this movie releases July 1st, 2022, this movie would have already been shot in 2021 or even earlier, right? So and a little bit after that would be the Aquaman 2. So I'm wondering if this is a little bit of that buying time as well. That's just me, in my opinion. She would probably still be in this movie if it's the Flashpoint we're thinking of. Body less, because it's just her head. But in any case, I'm still kind of just amazed that they're going to go this route, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to them to do this type of Flashpoint movie. So yeah, I'm all in for that, and I can't wait to see what happens with that. So that is it for this very short video updates for the rest of the DC films, DCEU, and also the box office update for Birds of Prey. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.